What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we're gonna be talking all about this brand new stand I got. This is the Realtree Walmart exclusive deluxe aluminum climbing stand, and we're gonna be taking a look at this. And as you can tell, it's pretty compact. We're gonna be breaking down the specs, the features. We're gonna do a demonstration, how to set this thing up, and show you what all you get in the package. Okay, guys, come along with me on the journey. We're gonna show you what this thing's made out of. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into this. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and let's get going. So guys, if you're looking for a new stand this year and you don't have a lot of money to spend, guess what? This climbing stand only comes in at like 200 bucks. And actually, at the time of this video, I actually picked this up at Walmart for 150 bucks. So for an aluminum climbing stand, that is crazy. I have a Summit open front SD climber, and that thing was around 400 bucks. So you're definitely getting a lightweight package here at like half the price. So you can't go wrong there, guys. I was a little bit skeptical about the quality at first, but then I opened the package, and this thing is actually pretty nice. And I'll get it off my back here in a second and show you guys what kind of features it has. But some of the stuff we're gonna go over first is the first impressions. Guys, out of the package, this thing looks really nice. The aluminum construction is pretty solid. You know, the colors are great. It has some of the green accents with the washers and stuff with the bolts. And guys, overall, this thing looks pretty sturdy for 150 bucks, man. You can't go wrong with this. It's compact. You can tell it folds up really flat. The only thing is the seat cushion is a little weird. So you kind of have to reinstall that once you put it on the tree here, and I'll show you guys that. But let's get going with setting this thing up. All right, so let's get this thing off my back here. And as you can tell, it has backpack straps, and they're not the highest quality. I will say they're kind of cheap made, but hey, you don't really use it that much. And you know, as light as this thing is, it comes in at 27.5 total pounds. Once again, that is a little heavy for an aluminum climber stand. I think my SD open front actually comes in, I think, around between 15 and 20. I could be wrong there, but it's a lot lighter than this one. So it's a little bit on the heavier side for a aluminum climber, but it's still a lot lighter than a lot of those metal frame ones out there. Okay, the maximum weight rating on this is 300 pounds. So, you know, keep that in mind if you are purchasing this. Right now, we're gonna go ahead and install this on the tree. That way you guys can see it a little bit better before I start talking about some of the specifications on this. First of all, this thing folds up really compact. You see how flat that is? And that's because these kind of open up when you go ahead and unfold it. When it comes to actually folding this thing up to make it nice and compact so you can wear it around like a backpack before you actually go into the woods, to kind of get it together, I haven't really found a great way to, you know, secure it all together. But it does come with these stabilization straps, and I'll show you that when we actually use them for that. But I've kind of just wound that through the stand here to kind of hold it together. And no rhyme or reason to it. I've just kind of wrapped it through a bunch of stuff. Mainly just wrapping it through the base and the top portions to keep it together. Okay, and you just open it up here, and we'll get the base of it out. Separate the two halves here. And what I like to do first is go ahead and put the base of the stand on the tree. And see how this folds out? That's what makes it so nice and compact, is the ability for this frame to actually fold out. So you can see how that works. Actually a really cool design. So the Summit that I have is actually all welded in these areas right here. This is called the bullet drive adjustment system here. So So it's kind of cool. It's got a little cutout right here in this tubing, and you just kind of pull the cable through and it locks into place right there. So when it comes to tree stands, what you want to do is find a tree that is about shoulder width apart. That's a good rule of thumb here. So this is probably about, I would say 13 inches diameter here. So it's going to make a perfect candidate for a tree for this stand here. And when you're setting up the base of the stand, one thing you have to think about is the angle of the tree as it goes up. So if it gets narrow as the tree goes up, you're going to have to compensate for that with the tree stand, which meaning you might have to take up more, and this might have to be canted back a little bit more. But for this tree, it really doesn't narrow out too much. So we're gonna kind of keep it a little bit inclined. It'll slowly level out as we go up the tree here. So I found where we kind of want to lock this into place. And I got this cable locked into place, and we're gonna take our securement pin here, kind of just put that through, make sure that's nice and secure. On these cheaper stands, these can be kind of loud, so what you want to do is, a lot of times I'll take duct tape and stuff and I'll kind of wrap it around here where I can still use this, but it's gonna deaden the sound a little bit. You see how loud that could be? All right, we're gonna get some of these straps out of the way. These are your stabilizer straps, and I'll show you what those actually do once we get the top portion of the stand in place. Okay, the top portion of the stand, the build construction is really nice on this. Nice aluminum here. I was actually really skeptical when I bought this. And I did buy this just for reviewing purposes, actually. But it's actually really nice. Once again, it's got that same cable system here. So with the top portion, you're going to want to do the same thing. Make sure it's tilted back enough to compensate for the angle of the tree. So that is not enough. Let's keep going with it. All right, so I think we're gonna lock it in right there. All right, so like I said in the beginning, the seat kind of makes it kind of hard to pack this thing together. So I just went ahead and took it off completely and used its strap to actually secure it around the stand when I'm using it as a backpack. But you'll just have to go ahead and connect this once you get it locked onto the tree. All right, guys, so we have it locked on the tree here. I want to break down some of these features a little bit more in depth. That way you can see them a little bit closer now that it is locked in position. Now, it does have these padded armrests here. They're not the greatest in the world. It's just a really thin cushion right here. You also have a cushioned shooting rail right here. And this is a little bit better than the armrests are. As far as the seat goes, this seat is really comfortable, and I'll show you when I get up there. Actually, we'll go up just a little ways, and I'll kind of show you what it looks like when you're sitting in it. But it is nice padding. The stitching, it's just a single stitch. That may or may not hold up for the long term, but I think it's going to be okay. And especially for 150 bucks, I mean, you're literally paying half the price of what you would for some other aluminum stands. Some of the construction here, you know, it's pretty cool that it folds. I don't know how well I like the actual concept of the bolts and stuff here. Like I said, on my Summit climber, this is all actually welded together, so you know it's always going to be secured. So that's something you're going to have to check on. But it does allow you to actually fold this up and make it really nice and compact. It pretty much lays completely flat, so that is cool that it does that. And the color schemes are really awesome as well. Not that that actually matters or anything, but this aluminum, like I said, is really nice. I wasn't really expecting this when I was going through Walmart looking at it, but it is made really well. The platform is kind of what surprised me the most. The mesh right here, this looks like it is milled out aluminum. So most cheap stands will have the steel mesh that's really flimsy, and a lot of times it pops, cracks, makes all kinds of noise. This is actually really, really sturdy. Nice and solid here. When it comes to the foot stirrups, this is just nice and simple, guys. It's just a little nylon piece of cord here. And then you got your shock cord right here to kind of lock your feet into place. And they do have a washer right here, which is nice. I had a cheap climbing stand when I was younger, didn't have a washer right there. And the screw actually ripped completely out. And I was left to try to get down the tree pretty much by any means possible after that. So it made it kind of difficult. Another really awesome feature we have right here, this is called the Roto Sleeve. So this is an adjustment that you can make when you're actually up in the tree. So this right here, you can adjust it. And what that does, let's say you get to the top of the tree and this base is still not leveled out and you want to get it level. You can literally adjust this, and this can adjust up to 5 inches of play out of the cable there. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty innovative right there. So I know there's been several times where I've needed to adjust the base to make it level, and that would have been really cool. And by the way, if you're wondering, for safety aspect, if you screw that out all the way, will it actually come out of it? No, it will not. That was one of my first questions, and I literally tested it, and it does not come out all the way. It does lock into place. So they got you covered there on the safety part of it. It will not come out. So if you're wondering about the dimensions of the platform here, this is a 20 by 32 foot platform. And actually, from the pictures, it looked like it was going to be smaller, but this is actually a decent size platform. And I mean, I really like it. The seat here is a 12 by 20 trifold seat. Some specifications there. The cables here seem pretty good. They seem pretty standard, what you would get with a budget level climbing stand. Pretty much the same as the ones I had on one of my Walmart stands I got years ago. So I think it's going to be okay there. And these are actually really quiet. And I'll kind of show you that as we go up with the demonstration. But the way these are coated, where it's not an exposed cable, that actually makes it really quiet when you're climbing up the tree. So I do like that. All right, I'm going to show you how to connect these stabilizer straps. We're going to only connect one right now. That way, what you always want to do before you start climbing is actually connect the top to the bottom portion. That way, if the bottom were to fall out while you're making your climb, the stand doesn't fall all the way to the bottom. I actually had that happen when I was a teenager, and it was not a fun experience, to say the least. So always, before you start your climb, connect the bottom to the top. And I don't know why this one didn't come with an actual string or some type of bungee to actually connect it, but it didn't. So what I'm going to use is one of the stabilizer straps to actually just connect that up. I'll show you that right now. Okay, so I think we're squared away. We're going to start our climb, and I'm going to show you how this performs. And then after, I'll kind of give my breakdown of how quiet it was and some of my impressions as I climbed up the tree with this. All right, so what I'm going to do before I actually make the climb is, you see I'm wearing the safety harness. You always want to wear a safety harness. That way you're playing it safe. And it just kind of blows my mind how many people actually do not use some type of safety harness, because you're really risking it, you know, falling out of the tree stand. You just never know when you might have, you know, not good footing or something like that, and you fall out on accident. So just play it safe. And what we're going to do is go ahead and secure the strap around the tree, and then we're going to secure our harness to that strap before we actually make the climb. All right, we got our safety strap connected. That way we got our top portion connected to our base. We got our feet in the stirrups with the bungee cord wrapped around the back of our ankles here. We're just gonna start making the climb. We have our safety harness on, and we have our tree strap in place. We're gonna have to bring this up as we make the climb. And I'm only gonna go up maybe like 10 feet just for demonstration purposes. Okay guys, as I work my way up the tree here, all I'm doing is taking the top portion and going up the tree a little bit with it, and then the bottom portion simultaneously. And I'm going to do this till I reach about 10 feet. Some of the things I'm looking for is how smoothly this climber actually works up the tree. And then I know we had to compensate for the narrowing of the tree a little bit, so the base is tilted forward a little bit. So that does put a little bit more pressure on that cable. But I'm trying to see how well this goes up the tree. And as you can tell, I'm kind of struggling with the base of it. The top part goes up really easy, but the bottom is kind of tough to get up the tree. You know, I should probably loosen up the cable and then maybe use that roto sleeve to tighten it up after we get up in the tree. But then again, you shouldn't really have to do that. I've never had a climbing stand where I've even had the roto sleeve feature or even had the ability to tighten that cable up. So you shouldn't have to do that. But like I said, maybe there are some tweaks that you can use to actually get around this issue. And the back of the tree is smooth, so it's not like the cable's actually getting hung up on stuff. It's just there's too much tension between the back of the platform and that cable. It's kind of like the design is a little bit off from what you pay. The stand doesn't really cost that much, so probably a lot of money didn't go into the research and development of this. So you got to kind of take that in consideration as well. All right, so we reached our desired height. Like I said, for demo purposes, I'm only going up maybe about 10 feet. I'm going to go ahead and take my tree strap for my harness and get it in position where I want it. That way we can cinch that down nice and tight. And then as we're getting this into position, if I were to fall, I'm gonna be safely attached to that tree. So as you can tell right now, I'm just kind of testing that tree strap out a little bit, showing how much range of motion I got. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and set up this trifold seat, actually attach it around the trunk of the tree there, and get the seat in position. All right, so I'm gonna get the seat in position. We're gonna go ahead and test it out, actually take a seat in it and see how comfortable it is. And it is really comfortable. So if you're planning on doing a lot of long sits, this will be perfect for you. Testing out right now some range of motion. This one does have that shooting rail, so if you're shooting a compound bow, it may or may not get in the way. You might have to just move that whole top portion down a little bit. All right, and there is a lot of foot space on this foot platform. So right there, I'm showing that. All right, I actually forgot to show you guys those stabilizer straps, but right now I'm gonna go ahead and install those, and what that's gonna do is provide tension to that top portion of the stand and kind of hold it in place so it's not moving around while you're in the stand. So the stand is also provided with a ratchet strap. That way you can attach the top and the bottom portion to the actual tree and cinch it down. That way you know it's not going anywhere. But once again, that's another step that I don't even do because most of my climbing stands don't even come with ratchet straps to secure it to the tree. And honestly, I look at it, it's kind of like a safety issue. If I were to reach down and try to put a ratchet strap around the platform, you know, I'm taking a big risk right there actually doing that because, you know, you could easily fall out of the tree bending down that far. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and descend down the tree. All you do is all those steps in reverse order to get back down the tree. Loosen up that tree strap. That way you can go ahead and get loose from the tree. That way you can start your climb back down. Some of the things that I'm looking for as I'm going back down the tree is, you know, we struggled with the platform portion going up the tree. I'm trying to see how difficult it is to actually take that back down the tree. So yeah, it seems like going down the tree isn't really an issue. It tends to slide down pretty easy. So maybe the tweaks are just going up the tree and actually lifting up on the platform, not necessarily going back down. All right, guys, so after the climb, some of my impressions of it, the top part really performs well. The teeth on the back here are really nice and sharp, so they really bite into the tree. And it's kind of easy to get it to go up the tree pretty smoothly without having to work it and shimmy it around and stuff to break it loose. But when it comes to the base, it's a little different. I think it looks like the design here, I had a little bit of trouble actually getting the base to actually come up the tree nice and smooth. I had to kind of shimmy it around a lot. It's almost like as if the back part right here is pushed too far back, so it makes it really hard to slide it up the tree. So that kind of caused it to be kind of noisy in a way. My summit climber is super quiet. I can almost go up the tree and not even touch the buckles or the cables to the back of the tree. I can just kind of slide it up and it's super nice and quiet. This one right here, maybe I need to loosen up the base a little bit, but then again, the angle of the platform is going to be kind of off. So that would probably fix it. And then maybe use that roto sleeve to actually tighten it up once you get up to the top. But it is a little bit tricky to get this base to actually cooperate with you. So that might be something you have to keep in mind, guys, if you're looking at purchasing this. Maybe some workarounds for that. But that did make it a little bit noisier than most climbing stands. But then again, at 150 bucks, you know, there are going to be some things that aren't as quality as other tree stands. So you got to keep that in mind too. When we were up top, the seat was super comfortable. It's really soft, and you know, I could sit in that thing pretty much all day and it would be good. Okay. So the seat really isn't that bad. Yeah, it's kind of a pain. You have to reinstall it pretty much every time if you want to backpack this out. But then again, I haven't really messed with it too much. I'm sure there's a way you can actually fold that up with the seat inside it there. All right, guys, so that's my review of this Realtree Deluxe aluminum climbing stand. And once again, 150 bucks at Walmart if you can catch it on sale. Pretty good deal for this thing. Once again, there's a few small issues with it, but you could probably tweak it and fix that. So keep that in mind, guys. If you're looking for a new climbing stand this year that is made out of aluminum, right here might be your answer to that, guys. And it doesn't break the bank. Once again, going with the theme of the channel here, keeping it blue collar, keeping things on a budget. It's going to perform for you and hopefully get you some good deer this year. I'm going to be doing a video probably within the next week or so. We're going to compare this budget climber to my Summit SD climber, which is around 400 bucks. So this is literally half the price of that, or a little bit less than half the price. So we're going to compare the two and see kind of some of the differences you get with paying a little bit more. And you know, you can determine whether it's worth it or not. In my opinion, I think you can do, obviously you can go out and kill deer. You could perform the same way with this as you would an expensive stand. But some of the money goes into it. You're gonna get some more luxury items. Maybe the stand's gonna be a little bit more comfortable and easier to use is some of the things we're looking at there. All right, guys, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you in those future videos.